Well, make America healthy again. That's the cause championed by President-elect Trump's pick to head the Department of Health and Human Services. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and his advisors have plans to shake up the current health policies in Washington. And CBN's Jenna Browder has the details.
Number one killer today is not smoking, it's not war, not infections, it's food.
Make America healthy again. A movement that picked up steam during the 2024 election and has rapidly grown in popularity since.
In the last 50 or so years, there's been about 10,000 chemicals added to the American food supply, where countries in Europe only have 400 approved for use.
So what is it, and what could it look like in practice?
I'm not going to take away anybody's vaccines. I've never been anti-vax.
RFK Jr. wants to lead America's war on chronic disease. And if he becomes Secretary of Health and Human Services, will focus on reforming the federal government's health agencies.
93% of American adults have metabolic dysfunction. This is caused by our toxic food system and our modern lifestyle, which has changed rapidly over the past 50 to 75 years.
Dr. Casey Means, a Stanford-educated surgeon, and her brother Callie are advisors to RFK Jr. Her book, Good Energy, is also considered to be the health playbook for the incoming Trump administration.
What I saw in the healthcare system is that we're spending more money every single year on treating diseases, but patients in America aren't really getting better. Our rates of chronic illnesses are going up every single year. The more money we spend on healthcare, the sicker we're getting.
She tells CBN News up to 80% of diseases can be avoided by addressing their root causes. Means says RFK Jr. has a three-pronged agenda. 1, get conflicts of interest out of health agencies. 2, produce uncompromised, evidence-based research to establish guidelines for health standards. And 3, reverse the trend of the chronic disease epidemic.
I think this movement is such a long time in coming. It's so overdue for us to have a national conversation about why we are the sickest, fattest, saddest, most over-medicated population in human history.
Katie Talento, an epidemiologist by training, served as a health advisor to the first Trump administration. She says RFK Jr. and his team will likely start with structural reforms.
So, for instance, the types of advisory committees that are made up of outside experts, both at the CDC and at the FDA, are riddled with big pharma corruption. There's almost nobody who sits on those outside experts. And these are very powerful panels. There's almost no expert that sits on those panels that is independent of pharma money.
But legislation can't just be slashed, and she says certain laws and statutes could be a barrier. She adds the interpretation of those laws, though, is in the purview of executive branch officials, and how much they can do depends on how they navigate the regulatory tools available to them.
So, for instance, we have all these food additives, red dye number whatever and yellow dye number, and like too many syllables and you can pronounce that are in all our food. Those additives, no one ever approved them as safe. They were never really going through clinical trials and showing that they're demonstrating through data that they're safe. They were given a designation by the FDA of generally recognized as safe, GRAS. And it basically means some scientist somewhere, probably on the food industry payroll, said that this is probably fine. Like, that's basically what happened. And so that kind of process that GRAS process can be dramatically reformed. And that designation can be removed forthwith, quickly, I think, from many, many of the poisonous and toxic or even questionable, we don't know, additives that are permitted in our food supply.
There is a chemical called Red 3 that's banned in lipstick, and it's been banned for a really long time, since 1990, over 30 years. But it's still allowed in strawberry milk drinks that we give to kids and cancer patients.
All right, so
this is the problem with our FDA.
This push faces an uphill battle, with strong interests already coming up against it. Talento sees it as a spiritual battle.
So how much you and I are praying and fasting for these initiatives will help determine how possible it is.
RFK Jr. will have his Senate confirmation hearing in January, where he'll be asked about all of this. Vaccines will also likely come up, as will his pro-choice views on abortion. In Washington, Jenna Browder, CBN News.
Well, it's about time we really took a look at all the food additives going into our supply chain, and you look at our convenience lifestyle. where we want to have these sort of completed meals, and we're sort of racing to figure out, well, what's the shortest amount of time it takes to have a dinner or have a lunch. And if you look at the ingredients, my sort of common advice is, if you can't pronounce it, please don't put it in your body. And add to that anything with corn syrup in the description shouldn't be part of your diet at all. For me, it's how many fruits and vegetables can I add to my diet? And in that, I already know it's natural. I already know it's going to be healthy. To find out, well, there might be a pesticide on that, well, that gives me a great deal of pause. But let me turn to the younger generation. And Ashley, what do you think? I know you live healthy and you pay a lot of attention to what goes in and diet, exercise, all of those things.
I try. I'm certainly not perfect. I 100% agree with you. I mean, they say to eat the rainbow, right? To eat every color in the rainbow. That way you get your fruits, your vegetables. Most of those foods with that color are really good for you, rich in antioxidants. Make sure you get your protein in. I try to stick to organic. I try to stick to grass-fed, non-GMO. But I think the unfortunate thing, a part of this discussion, is when you choose to be healthier, it's actually more expensive. So if you're not able to do those things, you're kind of stuck, and that's what's unfortunate. And I think if they're able to bring the prices down on organic produce, organic items, because you pay more money for those things, I think that would help a lot of Americans be healthier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you notice in the grocery store, what do people gravitate to? They tend to shop on the interior.
Right.
Stay on the outside. Stay on the
exterior. That's right.
And if you do, you're pretty much guaranteed it's going to be healthy.
Right. Yeah. Stay away from processed foods. But, I also stick by everything in moderation. So sometimes, you got to treat yourself.
Now you sound like a Greek philosopher.
You got to treat yourself sometimes. It's also the holidays, so I've been ingesting more sugar these days. That's for sure. So, have you?
I've been trying to get rid of sugar in my diet. Somebody gave me some toffee, and it's like, okay.
Yeah. See, it's hard. It's hard. It's the holidays.
I should have thrown it, or not. I should have regifted it. That would have been. Yeah.
Well,
Here,
listen.
You get sick. I'll stay healthy.
Well, listen. January 1st is coming. A lot of people join
resolutions are coming.
Yeah, you can start then.
Spend this Christmas with family, the CBN family, right in your own home.
We're celebrating the holidays.
Enjoy the scenes and sounds of the season from around the world.
Each other now embrace.
To the kitchen.
Merry Christmas.
We're making holiday memories with the warmth and love of Christmas.
I hope you're getting in the holiday spirit.
It's a CBN Family Christmas, from our family to yours. Get the app or visit cbnfamily.com.